So I'm not saying you should be super logical or super spiritual. I'm just saying sometimes what we want to learn is not what we need to learn on both ends.
Yeah, and sometimes the people that are the most informed are actually the least loud. They bark it's like the person who knows the most barks the softest, right? The person who's the most ignorant tends to bark the loudest.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode number 1709. What do you want to want? We probably said want 2 million times in that episode, but it was necessary. Today, for episode number 1710, some of the best books don't teach you anything new. I don't agree with that statement fully, but my thought on this episode was, what if, and this is going to be this will be a challenge to everyone, myself and Alan included, a very hyper-conscious challenge. What if the books that you've read, particularly in the self-improvement space, the non-fiction books, what if the reason you like those books so much is because they reaffirm what you already believed and they don't challenge you to make any different changes? What if... Because sometimes I wonder... Sometimes I wonder this, Alan. One of the top-selling books of all time, probably, in the self-improvement space, is The Secret.
Mm-hmm. Rhonda Barnes?
I believe so. I haven't read The Secret, so I can't eloquently speak to the content of it or whatever. I understand the premise of The Secret, and I've seen The Secret movie. There's the movie The Secret. I've seen that. Mm-hmm. But what
as have I.
As has Jeff. What if one of the reasons that is such a well-loved, popular book is because it reaffirms a belief that things are supposed to come to you easily? Versus maybe a book, I don't really have a great example, but maybe a book that's the opposite of life is hard, life is challenging, it's going to take more than you think it's going to take, it's going to be harder than you think, it will be a struggle. That, which might not be a very well-liked book by the people who also like The Secret. But people on that side might absolutely love that book and say, yeah, that's my belief, The Secret thing is garbage. So I just wonder if, and genuinely, this isn't like a hypothetical wonder, I genuinely wonder if we like the stuff that we like because it reaffirms the current beliefs that we have, and it doesn't force us to change our behavior. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this is one of the most dangerous things in the entire world because, unfortunately, we like to be affirmed. Mm-hmm. And it's everything in life is these dualities. We talk about it all the time. It's paradoxical, it's conundrums, it's dualities. A duality is holding two seemingly opposing ideas in your consciousness simultaneously. It's the power of the and, the genius of the and. It's not being strong or warm, it's being strong and warm. It's not being assertive or empathetic, it's being assertive and empathetic. It's so difficult to hold these dualities. Kevin and I talk about productive paranoia in tandem with massive vision optimism. Being optimistic about the future, but pessimistic in the present about what could go wrong. These dualities, I think, are maturity. We talked a lot about maturity on the last episode. So, Kev, if what you wanted was what you needed, you'd already have it. This is one of those interesting things. I used to playfully say this all the time. If you want Kevin as your coach, you probably need me. If you want me, you probably need Kev. I didn't read the book. I opened the book and read the first chapter. And it's called The Body Keeps the Score. Shout out to our old team member, Jessie. She introduced this book to me, and Emilia has as well. And it's this idea that we hold our trauma in our bodies. And I remember when I coached Jessie for many years, actually, she had this book. It was her favorite book of all time. And my favorite book of all time, if anyone doesn't know, is The Compound Effect. It's behind me. by Darren Hardy. It's not because Darren wrote it. It's because it's the most powerful principle in the universe from my perspective. From my perspective. Did I love, when I found the compound effect, brother, this is 6 or 7 years ago, this is it. If I could have just given my younger self this book, if I could go back to 10 years old and just slide that book across the table, I'd say, this is it, son.
With a Lunchable?
Yeah, with a
On top
couple
of a
pogs,
Lunchable?
Pokemon cards, and a Lunchable.
Did you love the book because it taught you something, or did you love the book because it reaffirmed what you already believed?
Both, simultaneously.
No.
Yeah.
You can only have one. That's the premise of the episode. You can only have one. You're breaking the episode.
I got to.
Okay.
It is what I always knew to be accurate, but it also taught me how to accelerate it. Now, to go back to the book that I quote-unquote hated, The Body Keeps the Score, Jesse's favorite book. She pulled it up in one of our coaching sessions, and she had all the little sticky notes. I mean, this book was tattered. It was very clear that she has studied this book, The Body Keeps the Score. So I was like, okay, I got to give this a shot. Emilia's recommended it. Jesse's recommended it. I respect you both deeply. Let me give this book a shot. And I opened it up. I listened to it on Audible. And the whole first chapter talks about all the statistics of adverse childhood experiences. And the premise of the book is that trauma is held in the body. And it says 1 in every 6 people, boom. 1 in every 7, boom. 1 in every 8, boom. 1 in every 12, boom. 1 in every 5, boom. 1 in every 4, boom. 1 in every... And my brain went, oh. I got super triggered. And I said, F this book. Because I was in every single one of those stats. And mathematically, I knew what that meant. What's 1/5 times 1/7 times 1/8 times 1/12 times 1/4 times 1/20 times... The chances, the probability of me being in every single one of those stats is extremely, 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 extremely low. So now I know, whoa, this is a book I need, but F this book. If what I wanted was, what do I want? I want more strategy books. I want more business books. I want more compound effect books. I want algorithms to live by, and I want the 15 invaluable laws of growth. That's what I want. What I needed is the book I least want to read. And that's kind of the point, is most people out there, Jessie, for example, already loves The Body Keeps the Score. The last thing she needs is more of that. What she needs is to read The Compound Effect and Algorithms to Live By and all the business books over here. So if you wanted was what you needed, you'd already have it. And we're not ambidextrous. The righties stay righty and the lefties stay lefty, and we don't know how to dribble with our other hand in this metaphor, and it really causes massive challenges. So if you want a coach, you need a therapist. If you want a therapist, you need a coach. Obviously, we all need both. But I encourage both. For me, the inner work is where all the unlocks were.
Yeah.
Because I already loved all the external stuff. So hopefully there's a lesson in that.
Isn't the saying, if you needed what you wanted, you'd already have it? I just want to make sure, because you were saying it the other way, and I thought it was the other way.
No, if what you wanted and what you needed were the same thing, you'd already have it.
Okay.
Why, did I say it wrong?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
it sounded weird.
I want more compound effect. What I need is more Body Keeps the Score.
I thought it was if what you needed was what you wanted, you'd already have it.
That's the same way. That's the exact same thing as if what you wanted was what you needed, you'd already have it. We're saying the same thing.
I know, but
I know the syntax is off, but it's saying the same conclusion. I think.
Language is tough. So I think one of the challenging things, Alan, can be when you find a book that gives you too much truth all at once, and it is quite the opposite of the way you want to think because it's just too much feedback.
Can we tell the listeners why we're laughing?
Yeah, we're laughing because we're having some technical issues, and it's really hard to be in the middle of a thought and then have technical issues and then have to pick up in the middle of that thought again after and pretend like nothing happened. and just start a sentence from like the middle of a sentence.
I don't even know what you said, to be honest.
Well, you want me to say
Did you
it
ask
again?
me a question?
No, I would never do such a thing. Never.
You said something about a book being too much feedback.
Yeah. The reason you villainize that book is because it was so true.
Yeah.
It was almost too true for you to digest it all at once. I think that's a whole nother thing. My question for everyone is, if you thumb through your favorite books, are they your favorite books because they reaffirm your beliefs? I've had so many people tell me, so many people have asked me, have you read The Untethered Soul? Have you read The Untethered Soul? Have you read The Untethered Soul? It's a great book, great book. Yes, I have read The Untethered Soul. You know when I read it when I was in a super spiritual phase.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I wanted to believe everything in that book. And I'm not saying that book's not valuable. I'm not saying it doesn't have positive points. I believe differently now than I once did.
Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. You ever hear a parent say, "Oh, don't worry, that's just a phase," for like
Definitely.
their kids?
Yeah, definitely.
So if imagine a hypothetical, two parents talking, saying, "Oh, my kid keeps doing this, keeps doing this. Oh, don't worry, that's just a phase." All adults have phases. I had a phase, spiritual phase. But you take some of it with you forever. It's not like a phase that ends forever.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're trying to say here, is that I had a phase when The Secret resonated. You did too. Remember?
I think I wanted it to resonate.
It never did. It did a little, right? Positive thoughts?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I remember watching the documentary. No, it didn't. No. I remember watching the video and I was like, wait, that person had like life-threatening cancer and then they just told themselves they didn't? That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah.
That seems like they're taking advantage of this process.
Well, here's the other layer. Just because you don't have to accept it all or nothing.
Well, I know.
You can say positive thoughts could have helped with cancer, but it's not going to cure cancer, right? So, And again, this is why everything gets wonky. No book is gospel. I told book club, I said, most books are garbage.
It's fair.
A lot of books are absolute garbage. I'm not even kidding. They're actually, some of them are downright devastatingly bad. I want to go quick with this, but science is the scientific method. It's evidence-based research. That's why I love books that are heavily researched. And I get it. NLU. Most of the stuff we talk about, so when I go on other shows, I often say I'm coming up on my 10,000 hours of coaching, speaking, podcasting, training. The reason I say that isn't, look how awesome I am. It's, I need you to know I'm not just talking. This is research-based, evidence-based, scientific method-based conclusions that I'm drawing. I'm not just like throwing a dart at the wall talking about stuff. And I think a lot of people are, quite frankly, and that's why it's so dangerous.
A lot of people are yapaholics, just yapping away.
Yeah, and sometimes the people that are the most informed are actually the least loud. They bark it's like the person who knows the most barks the softest, right? Person who's the most ignorant tends to bark the loudest.
Unfortunately. And my goal with going down the secret route was not, I think that there are so many valuable points in leaning into spirituality, whatever that means for you, especially if you're somebody who's overly rigid and logical. 100%. I think taking time on the opposite end of the spectrum is great for perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost becomes...
villainize the other side.
Kind of villainize the other side. And that's not what I'm trying to say in this. Alan and I were talking after we get off. I think we were talking on the episode about energy and how like you had an intense energy.
Mm-hmm.
And after he was
that
like,
was during the episode, I think.
Yeah, well, after you and I we had a deeper talk.
Oh.
And you said like, what does that mean? Like, explain to me what that means. And I said, I think it's just a frequency thing. I think it's just a frequency and a resonance thing. To me, that's all very out there. I don't know. It's very hard to know what that means in real life, but to me, that's like a spiritual thought. Karma to me is like a spiritual thought. One of the reasons I want to be good is because I think when you do good, I think you have good karma. I think when you're good, your frequency is different, your vibration is different. People can sense that. But I think that's spiritual. So I'm not saying you should be super logical or super spiritual. I'm just saying sometimes what we want to learn is not what we need to learn on both ends. I'm sure you and I know people who are super productive, but they have no idea who they are inside, and they don't believe that all of this is for a greater purpose in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be beneficial to visit that end. And then on the other end, I've interviewed with, I know a lot of people who are very much the spiritual, if it's meant to be, it'll be, divine timing. I think if that serves you, awesome, but I do think having strategy attached to it would make it more powerful, potentially. So ultimately, that's my takeaway for this episode is maybe some of the books that you think are the best are the books that you think are the best because they just reaffirmed what you already believed, and that's fine. Some of the podcast books I've read, I said, oh, wow, I know way more than I thought I did. Because somebody else wrote a book about it, and I already kind of knew that. But on the other end, there's books I've read where it completely challenges my beliefs, and I have that moment where I have to sit with my ego and figure out, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to villainize this because it makes me feel different? Or should I really take a look at this because it probably has a lot of valuable stuff in it? So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, there's a great philosophical quote of you shouldn't be super comfortable in your own stance until you can also argue the other side. And I think that if you want to be a well-rounded, mature adult, you have to understand that everything is two polarities. You've got Republican, Democrat, you've got conservative, and drawing a blank.
Don't ask me. If there's somebody who knows less about politics on this planet, I'd love to meet them.
Liberal and conservative. The point is the math geniuses want more math. The spiritual people want more spirituality, but the world would be a better place if we learned how to get along. And I think that all of us should be studying the whole spectrum. I don't think you should write something off super quickly. And I purposely will listen to certain books that I actually don't want to listen to. There's one called, what's the name of this book?
Quite a shining endorsement for this book. Here we go.
Yeah. Something about You're the One or something like that. It's a female author that talks about not disconnecting from self. It's really good. I wish I could quote the author. That's my bad. I'm over here quoting Compound Effect all the time. But the point is I don't necessarily, and in book club, the book club members listening will know this, I don't like all the books we do. It's hard because if I'm not passionate about it, it's going to be hard for me to lead book club. So like the Psychology of Money is 10 out of 10 for me. Let me do this because I know we got to jump. Here's the problem, Kev. Your goals, what's up, man? Hello. Here's the problem. Your goals require you to have certain beliefs.
Definitely.
So if you have a goal to be financially free, you actually have to be careful what you believe in order to achieve that goal. So if you have a goal to be financially free and you're 15 years old and you read the 4-Hour Work Week and you think you're going to be financially free working 4 hours a week, it's a dangerous.
Yep.
What someone who's 15 needs is different than what someone who's 35 needs. What someone who already works 6 days a week, 12-hour days needs is very different than what someone who's 15 and lazy watching Netflix, waiting for that next Netflix series. You got to learn. Your learning should be tailored to your goals. And that's where I'll end it. Your learning should be tailored to your goals. And maybe you get your goal and decide you don't want it. That probably will happen. But at least you'll get there instead of thinking that it's going to drop out of the sky because you read The Secret.
Deep episode. Deep one. That's all I have.
What are your thoughts on all that?
I think it's worth experiencing the things that make you uncomfortable because there might be lessons in there too. Yeah, you definitely have to have certain beliefs to achieve certain goals, But if you believe you already have all the beliefs, then you might be jeffing yourself. Right? I'm as guilty of that as anybody. I think we all are to a degree. We all know what works for us. And we all know what we think works best for us. But do you really know what works best for you until you try a bunch of different stuff? No, you can't.
And then you try it long enough to actually get evidence. Yeah.
Like, we always make burgers this way. One of the most dangerous quotes in the world is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. One of the most dangerous quotes in the world. It sounds really good. Like, yeah, we just do that. It works every time. But it doesn't mean it couldn't work better. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean it couldn't work better. So that's my last takeaway. I have to one-up you, obviously.
That's strong work.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, we don't know what we're doing for next episode. It'll be good. It'll be a good one. About life, love, health, wealth, self-improvement, next levelness, hyper-consciousness, relationship. It could be anything. Who knows? But it's going to be a good one. If you are looking for a group of like-minded humans who are trying to be as well-rounded as possible, that's kind of what we're talking about. I want to be spiritual. People ask me all the time, are you someone who's spiritual? I say, yeah, I'm very spiritual, for sure. Also, I'm also very logical in many ways, right? It all depends. Next Level Nation is a really good place for that. Everybody is looking to grow and evolve and get what they don't yet have and learn more about what they need to learn about, grow their strengths, grow their weaknesses. We'll have the link in the show notes for that. Our next monthly meetup, Alan, I know the date, but what are we talking about on June 6th? Do you remember?
Productivity.
How
to be more productive. How to get more done in less time.
Okay. So that will be Thursday, June 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our meetups are completely behind the scenes, totally private. We're not going to record them. It's kind of like a deeper...
corrected. How to get more of the right stuff done.
Is that why? I thought you were telling me to wait for you to say something after. My apologies.
Yep.
I didn't mean to shush you in real time.
Oh, all good.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Completely behind the scenes. Kind of a deeper podcast episode, but you can engage as much or as little as you want. We have questions. There's a lot of opportunities for engagement. So if you're ever interested in looking behind the scenes more of NLU, that's a great place to do it. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Continue seeking objective truth. Next Level Nation.